it's Lori here. I'm back for another BookMas video to share with you guys. The last video you guys saw was the debut authors this year that I really enjoyed. I am 90% sure most of those authors in that video were debuts, but there might have been one or two that I was a little bit confused by. But today I'm going to talk about the authors that were just new to me in 2020, authors that have had past books or I just got around to reading them and they stood out to me. There's definitely more new authors to me that I read this year, but these were just my top favorites that I just wanted to chat through in this video. So the first author we are going to chat through is Julie Buxom. I actually read 3 books by her. I read A Mission, I read Tell Me 3 Things, and I read, I don't remember the name of it, but I'm going to put the picture here. And I read What to Say Next. That was actually the first read I read this year. But I wound up really liking her as an author. She has some really interesting concepts in novels, also some really interesting characters. I don't know which one was my favorite. I really liked Admission, which is about a college acceptance scandal, which was very much mirrored by Lori Loughlin and her drama with her daughters. I really liked that one. I thought it was interesting, but I also liked the other 2. The first one I read, I think, was also very, very high, very, very well done. It dealt with like very unique characters. There was a lot of grief and friendship dynamics and potential love interests in that. Again, a super fun read, but that was an author that definitely stood out to me. And I still have one more book that I haven't read by her yet that I'm going to try to tackle soon. And then the next author we are going to chat through is Rebecca Ross, who wrote Sisters of Sword and Song. This is actually her 3rd book she wrote. She has a series, The Queen's Rising and The Queen's Resistance, which I haven't read yet. But this book is an ancient Greek-inspired fantasy standalone, and I got it from ALA, and I really liked it. I thought it was really interesting. It was an interesting world. The characters were really unique. There was basically, a girl who was set to be like the leader of this society. She was going to be like a warrior, and something happened that led her down a bad path, and then her sister kind of has to come to her rescue. So it was very much focused on friendship and sister dynamics. I was really captivated by the world like immediately from page 1. I had never read an ancient Greek themed novel before other than like some mythology stuff, and there was some mythology like tossed into it if I'm remembering correctly, but it was a really, really fun standalone. Standalones are so rare in the YA community, like fantasy standalones specifically, so I just really wound up enjoying that one. And then the next author that I wound up reading was Catherine Purdy, who wrote Bone Crier's Moon. This again was another really surprising one because I had never read anything by her before, but this one has to do with witches and, well, sort of witches and like people that summon souls, and there was a couple of main characters. I think there was 3 main characters in this book. There was Bastion, there was the 2 girls, and again it was really focused on friendship dynamics and female friendship, and I thought the dynamics between the characters were fun. The world was fascinating. I really cannot wait for the sequel, which is coming out in 2021, and I will definitely be getting a copy of that when it comes out. It's definitely going to be on my highly anticipated books for my sequel list for sure. But yeah, it was just a fun read. Her writing captivated me so much that I might actually go back and read her previous series, which I haven't heard that much about in the past. But it's definitely a series that has like piqued my interest, and I really like her writing style. I think she crafts characters so fun. The world building was awesome, and I love books that have a touch of magic or like look at magic in like an interesting way, and that's exactly what Catherine Purdy did with this book that really piqued my interest. And that's why she's on this list. She's author that I will definitely read more of. Not also keep reading the series, but also go back and read her other series that she has out. And then the next author I'm going to chat through is a personal new favorite for me, and that is Erin Hahn. Books of hers pretty quick, back to back in quick succession, and they made me so incredibly happy. I really, really wound up loving them. They're both like music themed. I think I probably preferred You'd Be Mine, which was her first book, a little bit more than Maybe, but they were both great stories. They both looked at the music world in really different ways. The first one follows 2 country music stars as they're trying to basically the boys trying to get a better reputation, the girls just not really wanting to be involved in this world, and they wind up having a romance that's kind of develops. It kind of reminded me a little bit of Love Song and Other Lives by Jessica Pennington that I read a couple of years ago, but it was just another like road trip book, or Open Road Summer by Emery Lord, which is another country music themed novel that I really liked. Again, really enjoyed it. More Than Maybe was another one that looked at a very different side of the country of the music scene with a male character who's like the son of a very, very popular music star in England, and then a girl who's determined to be like a music writer, like a journalist, and they had a developing of a relationship, and she's coming out with her third book, which is a companion novel to More Than Maybe, following one of the lead characters, their best friends in that story. I really like her as a writer. She's really, really funny on Twitter. And she's great. I cannot wait to keep reading from her. And I was so angry at myself it took so long. And this is like one of like You'd Be Mine is that one book series I want those songs written. I just want like a singer to say like write the songs and put them on my iPod because the songs were so good. That would be a great pre-order incentive, Erin Hahn, just saying. And the next author I am going to chat about is Alex London, who wrote Black Wings Beating. This is Alex London's second book series. His first was Proxy. This is one that deals with animals and falcons, and it follows these two main characters as they are sucked into the world of falconry. And I have to still catch up. I have to read Red Skies Falling and Gold Wings Rising, I think. I may have got the last title wrong. But I wound up really liking this book. I thought it was really diverse, just a fun read, one that really captured me. I like the characters. I like the world building. I have a thing about animals in books. I just like it. I like his animal companions. I read a couple of books this year with like Crow Rider and a couple of other ones that had animals. And this is another one that just animals became really a big part of this novel. And it definitely put a smile on my face. I was really happy that I picked it up. And he's writing another book series called Battle Dragons, I think. Again, I'm sorry if my titles are wrong. But he is writing another series, and I definitely want to finish this series in 2021. That's definitely my goal because I'm in the middle of it. So, but yeah, the next author I am going to chat through is Rachel Lynn Solomon, and I read Today, Tonight, Tomorrow. This is Rachel Lynn Solomon's third book, and it's her first pure, like, contemporary book that were, like, just fun and lighthearted. Her other two books were very, very hard and heavy-hitting, and I just did not get around to reading them. They are on my TBR for 2021, I will say that, because I would like to go backwards and kind of read her other works, but this one was just a delight, and it tackled some of my favorite tropes and kind of rolled it into one. I love rivals. Like, I love rivals to lovers. I think that's one of my favorite tropes. And I think the reason I like that trope so much is because there's a history that you're pulling from. And I just struggle a little bit with romances that start on page one or like midway through the book and then they're in relationship at the end, because I feel like there's not enough buildup for me to get emotionally invested in it. But the book also took place over like 24 hours. There was flashbacks to the past that kind of explain their relationship in the present. And then there was a scavenger hunt, which I love. So all these elements together made this book so much fun and so great for me to read. And I really, really liked it. I loved her writing style. I love how she structured it. I love that was this the book? This wasn't the book. We only got Rowan's point of view in this, and I was okay with it, I think, because we had those outside sources that kind of fleshed out the other character's background a little bit, but also this character had like a really, really unique hobby that I liked. She wanted to write romance novels, and again, I just found it to be such a fun, engaging read and flew through it this summer. And I will definitely go back and read more books by that author again in the upcoming years. And then the next author I want to chat about is Kit Frick, who wrote I Killed Zoe Spanos. Kit Frick actually has quite a few books out, but this was the first one that really like captured me, and I will admit it might have been the blue pages from Barnes & Noble that really captured my attention when I saw it. But this was a murder mystery thriller that immediately captured me. But it basically follows this girl named Anna, and she winds up going to work in this town in the Hamptons, and everyone's basically telling her she looks a lot like this girl named Zoe Spanos. And when Zoe Spanos' body is found, she gets sucked up into this world, and they think she might have killed Zoe. And you kind of send her down this road, and you start the book with her being in jail for committing this crime. So you're basically flashing back to her getting to the point when she's in jail, and then also the future. I will admit, I was a little bit more invested in the future elements of this storytelling because I knew she was going to wind up in jail, and I was like, hurry up and get there. But I was really intrigued, like, how the story, like, developed. I like there was also a podcast element in this book, which really captured me. I really liked that. And there was also, like, side characters in addition to Anna that we got, which was really, really fun. I definitely want to go back and read her other books because this one really captured me. And I don't know what she's working on next, but I definitely will be checking it out for sure. And then the next author that I wanted to chat about in this video is Sam Maggs, who I actually read quite a few books from her this year. I think I read 2 or 3, but let's get into it. Finished 2. I started one of her nonfiction books that I do definitely want to finish, but she's just a great, like, superhero themed novelist. I read The Unstoppable Wasp, which is based on a Marvel character, and then I read Conquest, which is about kids going on a con adventure during a Comic-Con, which I've been missing my con so much in this past year because we haven't been able to have any since about January. But I just like her writing style. She reminds me a lot of Ashley Poston, and her writing styles when she writes the Geekerella series. It's very, very built on fandom. It's just a fun read, lighthearted, but also it deals with a lot of harder topics. Like in Unstoppable Wasp, she dealt a lot with anxiety and depression and the after effects of the Red Room for the Black Widow program, which I was not expecting. Very, very science heavy. She's a very big proponent of STEAM. And Conquest was, again, dealt a lot with, like, the toxicity of fandom culture, which I was not expecting in a middle grade novel, but again, really enjoyed. Reminded me a lot of the novels that Ashley Poston writes, the Once Upon a Con series. But it was just great. I really want to read more by her in the future. I have quite a few nonfiction books that she has that I want to read in 2021, but definitely more of her physical novels as well, for sure. And then the next author we are going to chat about is the adorable and the lovely TJ Kuhn, who wrote House on the Cerulean Sea. I fell in love with this book. I really went in with super high expectations because everyone I had spoken to said that they really, really loved it. And I was like, I don't know if I'm going to like it this much, but I loved it. I'm not the biggest fan of adult books normally. This would definitely classify as like a book that has no genre, I'll say, because it has elements of middle grade, it has elements of YA, it has elements of adult. The main character is definitely an adult, but you do have a lot of side characters that are kids. But it basically follows this guy named Arthur, who is tasked with making sure that the magical children in this world are protected, and he has to go visit all these places, make sure the kids are well cared for, and he gets a top secret assignment where he has to go visit the most dangerous kids. And his world changes. That's all I'm going to say. His world changes, and it was such a spectacular read. He actually has another book coming out that I just looked up, which I am definitely adding to my TBR for 2021 because it sounds very, very similar to it. It's probably almost like a companion book. It has to do with ghosts. I'm totally here for it. It will probably be another fall read for me, but I am really, really wound up liking this. He also wrote The Extraordinaries, which I actually have a copy of, and he also has a bunch of other adult romances, which I have not been interested in recently, but Peace Love Books was chatting about them in her recent blogs, and I've been listening to her thoughts. But I definitely want to check out his Extraordinary series because it's much more in line with what I like to read. But yeah, so the next and final author I'm going to chat about is one of the Regency romance authors that really captured me this year, and that is Julia Quinn. This must have been a quarantine thing, but a lot of the people I was following started reading a lot of Regency romances. So I just started to take up with it, and I dived into a few. I read like a couple of books by Lisa Kleypas. I read a couple of books by Sophie Jordan, but Julia Quinn is definitely the author that really captured me. I read The Duke and I recently, and it's coming out on Netflix like this month, and I fell head over heels for this book. I'm waiting patiently for my library to get in the copy of the second book so I can read it. But I might just break down and just buy it on my Kindle. We will see. But I just love this genre a lot. I'm going to definitely talk about it in my, what I learned about myself during quarantine. Whenever quarantine's over, I'm probably going to do that because we're still in the middle of it. But I really just like these reads. They're so fast. They're so quick paced. I've said this before. I'm not the biggest fan of adult contemporary romances always. They just don't always capture my attention. But Regency romances, I like it. I think there's like political intrigue, there's drama, there's some steamy scenes, but it is really, really balanced and it's just super fun. And I'm really, really liking it. And she just definitely captures it. She has like a wide backlist of books. So I'll probably spend a while trying to catch up on her. But I definitely want to read the Bridgerton books in 2021. And there's a lot of them. There's like 10 of them. So if I can tackle that in 2021, I would be super happy with myself. But yeah, guys, these are all the authors that are new to me in 2020 that I wound up really enjoying. Let me know in the comments what are some new to you authors that you wound up founding in 2020, and if you like them or if you didn't like them, and we could chat in the comments, and I'll talk to you guys for my next video. Bye, guys.